safe. This is the final Aspro show. From the Assembly Hall, Sydney, where all state finalists will be awarded their prizes, and Mr. and Mrs. Australia will be farewelled on their glorious 7 weeks holiday to England. Last Saturday night on direct landline broadcast throughout the nation, you heard Mr. and Mrs. Keith Howard, representing the state of Western Australia, selected as Aspro's Mr. and Mrs. Australia. Within a few minutes of this program terminating, Mr. and Mrs. Keith Howard will board the Kangaroo Service Constellation and will arrive in London next Wednesday, the 20th of December. Your regular compere, John Hansbury, will conduct tonight's Aspro show.
Ably supported, of course, by Howard Craven. Well, now, let's show Australia that we're really in a happy frame of mind tonight. Christmas is just around the corner, and what better way to welcome Christmas than with a really good old-fashioned song. Let's away with Frankie Scott at the piano with that dear old evergreen favorite, I hardly remember it, Lily of Laguna. She's my lady love, she's my love, my lady love. She's the love, she's not the queen, she's the love, I know she likes me, I know she likes me, because she says so. She's my lady of Laguna, she's my lady. Grand old favorite, Lily of Laguna, but the favorite in every Australian medicine chest. That's in that medicine chest, on the kitchen shelf, in Milady's handbag for that matter, and that waistcoat pocket, is the true and tried family friend, A-S-P-R-O, Aspro.
Summertime headaches often have an element of irritability about them due to oppressive conditions. For this reason, Aspro should be used. The action of Aspro is a soothing one, calming and steadying you, as well as relieving the headache. Aspro, swift, safe, and soothing.
Thank you very much, Howard. Last Saturday night you heard an engaged couple win the magnificent Glory Box quiz jackpot, half of which they won, the other half being forwarded to a South Australian listener who sent the question. Tonight, we have 6 engaged couples on stage, and we have 6 questions for them. We have 6 large family-sized bottles of Aspro here. In the top of each packet, there is a slip of paper indicating the prizes applicable to each question. The engaged couples will be allowed to select their own family-sized bottles. The prizes in one are 2 electric irons, in another 2 pressure cookers, in yet another we have 2 mantle model radios. In the fourth, there are 2 imported crystal water sets. The fifth contains 2 silver tea and coffee services, and the sixth, 2 beautiful electric washing machines. Now, for the correct answer, the engaged couple will receive one half of the award, the other half being forwarded to the listener who sent the question we ask. Now, listen carefully, because your question may be asked tonight, those listeners, and the engaged couple may earn a magnificent prize for you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know Howard Craven, well-known in quiz circles throughout Australia, and since you're a well-known quiz man, Howard, would you mind stepping over the microphone to conduct our first couple through their little section?
Why, certainly. Thank you very much, John Hansbury. And the first engaged couple to the microphone this evening, making their way up now. This is the particular microphone. Firstly, it's... Your name, sir?
Leo Zulu.
Leo?
Zulu.
Sulo. A little closer, would you? Thanks, Leo. May call you Leo, right?
Yes, sir.
Fine. And...
Joyce Peasley.
How do you do, Joyce? Happy, folks? Right. Here it goes. Your question was sent to you, or sent in to us, rather, by Mrs. J. Hoffman, 555 Fitzgerald Street, North Perth, Western Australia. And your prize, 2 imported crystal water sets. Assuming we answer the question correctly, and I think we're going to. Do cheer up! Didn't they look so unhappy? That's right. Here we go. Here's your question, and we're off. Good luck also to Mrs. Hoffman. Mrs. Hoffman wants you good people to tell us that if you were blindfolded, by what simple process could you determine the difference between a penny and a 2-shilling piece if you were able to handle each? Now, Leo looks as if he's going to answer.
The 2 shillings has a serrated edge, and
Yes.
the penny has a smooth edge.
I think we'll pay it. Yes, right all the way. Well done. Good work. That's it. The bill gilt edge of a 2 shillings, and the penny has the smooth edge. And an important crystal water set to you, good people, and also to Mrs. J. Hoffman, 555 Fitzgerald Street, North Perth, Western Australia. Congratulations to you also, Miss Hoffman. John, your turn now.
Thank you very much, Howard. That's right. Give them a farewell and a welcome to our next couple. Here they come right up to the microphone. Come right in, please. The little lady looks a little shy. Would you like to put your arm around her, sir? Do that. That's right. Pull together like the ivy on the old garden wall. Now, what's your name, sir?
Stan Bredman.
Stan Bredman. Uh-huh.
Val Friedman.
And Val Friedman. Both men. I mean, on the end of the name. Cheers. All right. Here we go. And your beautiful prize is a beautiful silver tea and coffee service, if you happen to be correct in your answer, which was sent in to us by one of our listeners. We'll tell you about it in a moment. And she also will secure for herself that silver tea and coffee service, too, if you are lucky enough to get the right answer. Okay? Question was forwarded to us by a listener who regularly listens to our Aspro show, and we're delighted to include her question, as this is the first time we have had an opportunity of including a question that has come all the way from New Zealand. New Zealand. The question was forwarded by Mrs. Winifred D. Harper of 209 Stafford Street. Oh, wait a minute. Hoppy Ticker, I think, is the address. Westland, New Zealand. Hello, Mrs. Harper, way over there. Everyone in Australia has their fingers crossed tonight, because if we can earn a correct answer from our engaged couples, you'll receive one half of the prize that is applicable.
John, excuse me interrupting. A nice idea, I think, might be a cheerio call to our New Zealand listener.
All
what
right.
do you say?
Righto. Thank you for reminding me of that, Howard. Ladies and gentlemen, on 3, a big cheerio to New Zealand, to Mrs. Harper. 1, 2, 3. Well, that goes all the way over to you, Mrs. Harper. And, I'm showing you the question and the answer. Well, aren't I a silly boy? Well, come up to the microphone. That's it. Don't go away. In mythology, Greek or Roman, I'm not sure which, we learn that... don't be frightened. This is something right up your line. In Greek, we learn that Eros and Venus are a god and goddess. Now, if anyone can give us the correct answer, surely you can, because you're engaged. We want to know the Greek or Roman god and goddess. Eros and Venus are the god and goddess of what? Shh, that's right. Come on, closer.
Cupid.
Cupid? Well, he's a relation, you know.
Venus.
Venus and Eros is a relation to Cupid, and what does Cupid represent? In one short word, you know.
Love.
Love is right. Okay. Here it goes. You earned yourself a beautiful silver tea and coffee service, and so does Mrs. Harper of New Zealand. Hello, Mrs. Harper. That'll be coming over to you. Our thanks once again, and, of course, another large family-sized bottle of Aspro to the lucky contestants. And back to Howard Craven.
Right, thank you, John. On we go. Things are really popping tonight. And the third engaged couple to the microphone. Good evening to...
Joyce Townsend.
Come in close when you speak. How do you do, Joyce? And...
John Linklater.
Joyce and John. Fine. Welcome to the show. You've got to keep up the good work, right? All right, Joyce and John, your particular question was sent to us by Mrs. J. Simmons, Karawiloo Station, via Port Augusta, South Australia. Good evening, Mrs. Simmons. Thank you very much for your question, and good luck also to you. Joyce and John are going to do all the work, and we wish them very good luck. Your prize, incidentally, 2 triple-throat wide-range mantle model radios. Very nice. Very nice. Well, here we go. Good luck to you both. Here comes your question. A work by one of Australia's most famous writers is Song of the Pen. Mrs. Simmons of Port Augusta, South Australia, will share this prize with you if you can tell her the Australian author of Song of the Pen. Joyce? John?
Patterson?
Hmm?
Patterson?
Would you mean Banjo Patterson?
Yes.
You would? You're right, too. Yes, it is. Well done. Well done, Joyce. Well done, you. A.B. Banjo Patterson is the correct answer, and also all sorts of congratulations to Mrs. J. Simmons, Karawiloo Station via Port Augusta, South Australia. A triple-throat wide-range mantle radio is on its way to you, Mrs. Simmons. Well done. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much, Howard. On with the good work here. Our next couple coming up to the microphone. Would you tell us your name, please?
Lionel Morgan.
Come on, Lionel, a little louder.
Lionel Morgan.
Lionel Morgan, where do you live, Lionel?
Redfern.
At Redfern. And you?
Patland, Redfern.
Patland, Redfern. Not in the same street, I hope.
Same house.
Same house. Same house. Well, isn't that convenient? Good, that's lovely. Come right up a little closer. That's it. Now, your prize is 2 large family-size unit pressure cookers. Now, that's 1 each for you and the listener who forwarded the question, Mrs. Dennis McKay of 93 Telford Street, Rockhampton, Queensland. Hello, Dennis. Well, I hope you have use for a pressure cooker, and I'm sure you will, because you don't have to be such a good cook if you have one of those. Now, one of the world's most famous baritone singers has a full name which comprises of 3 very popular male Christian names. 3 in 1, like a radiogram, you know? 3 popular male Christian names.
John
Who is
Charles
this?
Thomas.
Who?
John Charles Thomas.
You're right, yes, John Charles Thomas. Off you go. You have won yourself a family-sized pressure cooker. And Dennis, up there at Rockhampton, you have one too. Thanks, Howard. You're coming right up to the microphone now.
All right, thank you, John Hansbury. Well, this is terrific. Our next engaged couple are right here, happy and smiling, I trust. In a little closer, that's fine. Well, she's smiling now, and it's,
Margaret Brothers.
Margaret Brothers. You don't mind me holding Margaret's hand, do you?
Not at all.
Oh, he's a big fella, too. Thank you, Margaret, and it's,
Mervyn Torban.
good evening, Mervyn, and good evening, Margaret. Where do you come from, Margaret?
Cremorne.
Cremorne, and Mervyn?
Mossman.
From Mossman. Oh, very excellent. Well, here it is. Your question has been sent, incidentally, to us by H.J. Miller, 14 Clarendon Street, Ballarat, Victoria. Mr. Miller, good evening also to you. Thank you for your question. The prize, 2 electric irons. Very handy, an electric iron? Yes. Mervyn doesn't know about that, but still, Margaret seems very happy. Well, here's your question. As you know, you share the jackpot with Mr. Miller of Ballarat, Victoria, should you answer it correctly. Now, take your time and watch it. I'll say no more, except be very careful, Mervyn, and also Margaret. Tell me, if I had a peacock and it laid an egg in your backyard in Cremorne, whose egg would it be?
Peacocks don't fly.
That's right! They don't either! They don't lay eggs. Wonderful. Mervyn looks a little doubtful. You agree with that, Mervyn?
Oh, quite.
Oh, yes, he's right. I thought you looked a bit worried. Well done, Mervyn, and well done, Margaret. Peacocks don't lay eggs, but peahens do. And they have successfully won their prize, an electric iron, and won also to Mr. H.J. Miller of 14 Clarendon Street, Ballarat, Victoria, for sending us the question. Your electric iron will be dispatched post-haste, Mr. Miller. Thanks a lot, and well done to Margaret Brothers and Mervyn Torpin. John, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Howard. Well, that's very, very nice indeed. Everybody's winning prizes. Let's hope the next one goes off because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the question which will win for 2 people an electric washing machine each. Now, come up to the microphone. Come up, please. That's the idea. You're looking very happy. Let's hope you'll be just as happy in a few moments' time. Now, tell us your names.
Betty Facey of Mossman.
Betty Facer of Mossman.
Facey.
Facey, yes.
And Ron Hind of Five Dock.
Ron Hind of Five Dock. You're separated a good distance. However, you'll get over there. You've probably got a bike. Anyway, here is the question, and it was sent in to us by Mrs. F.F. Jackson of Mossman Lane, Glen Innes, New South Wales. She is really hoping. Hello, Mrs. Jackson. I know you're hoping, your fingers crossed, that our good couple here can answer the question. Okay, it's a very important question. No help to you on this one for the washing machines. Now, Mrs. Jackson asks you to name a word in the English language that begins with H-E and ends with H-E. A word which begins with H-E, he, and ends with he. Not just he, you know, but a word. A real word that begins with
Headache.
He's right! He's right! Well, that's really lovely. What's your name again, sir?
Ron Hind.
Ron and?
Betty Facey.
Ron and Betty, you've won yourself a washing machine. Now, when are you going to get married on that? Not on the... You are?
year.
That's put it ahead a long, long way. And Mrs. Jackson, housework is no longer irksome. You have a washing machine, too, and he knows his Aspro. Headache, he got it in a flask. There's no need to have it as long as you've got Aspro in the house. Congratulations. We didn't try to give it away, but you got it. Thank you, and cheerio to you both now. Well, that's the completion of the Glory Box quiz in this last Aspro show. Our congratulations to the winners, and our thanks to the fine couples who participated.
What is the key to the remarkable success of Aspro and its worldwide acceptance? Well, it's simply this. Aspro gives you effectiveness without risk. Now, there's no need to include harmful drugs in Aspro. It does its work of relieving pain simply, effectively, harmlessly, because it is Aspro. When you take Aspro, you do so with a free and easy mind. You can take Aspro as often as necessary without fear of harm to heart or stomach. A-S-P-R-O, Aspro.
Thank you, Howard. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, the presentation to Aspro's Mr. and Mrs. Australia. Last week you heard Mr. and Mrs. Keith Howard, representing the state of West Australia, selected as Aspro's Mr. and Mrs. Australia. And, ladies and gentlemen, here they are. Well, Well, really a big and happy family tonight. All the contestants are here with us, of course, and they're very, very happy to be along. May we offer you our congratulations. What have you got to say?
We are very proud, Mr. Hansbury, and we thank the judges and the people of Australia very much for placing their confidence in us.
I should like to express our very sincere thanks to the sponsors of the show, Nicholas, who have given this great opportunity to two young Australians for this splendid adventure.
You haven't got over your excitement yet, I suppose, huh?
Not really, no.
What does it feel like to be Mr. and Mrs. Australia? You know, you've got a very large family to look after, haven't you?
Yes, it's just too fantastic, the feeling.
Too fantastic. And you, Keith, can you put it down to anything more than that?
I'm afraid...
You're afraid
I'm afraid that word doesn't even cover it.
All right. Now, I suppose you're looking forward to your stay in England?
My word. We have a great number of friends in England, actually. Our families came from there originally, many years ago, and I know they'll all be looking forward to seeing us and we them.
Certainly. And, by the way, have you got someone to look after the kiddies?
Well, I have a friend who was in the bank when we were both in the bank, and she has done a nursing training since then, and I'm sure that she would go into our home and look after the three kiddies for us.
Well, you have no worries. You've only got lovely things ahead of you both. And now we come to the presentation of your award. Firstly, we've purchased your tickets, and you will be leaving very, very shortly. As a matter of fact, just a few minutes after this broadcast concludes on the BOAC Qantas Kangaroo service to London. 7 weeks later, you'll return with the same service.
You have your complete itinerary, which has been organized, supervised, and completely arranged through the American Travel Headquarters, which includes your stay in London and your really exciting tour of England from London to Edinburgh, down to Torquay, and back to London.
Now, to cover you against accident or any type, we issue you with 2 insurance policies of £10,000 each, including a weekly payment of £100 to either one due to any capacity or incapacity due to an accident. Now, whilst in London, of course, Howard...
Well, they will visit Coventry and be the guests of the Standard Motor Company. There you will be presented with the car that you've come to know so well during your stay in Sydney. Australia's most popular family car, a Standard Vanguard.
Your wardrobe, complete to the last detail, has been selected from the huge range and exclusive stock of one of Australia's leading retail stores, Grace Brothers of Broadway.
You have traveller's checks totaling hundreds of pounds, which will cover your expenses in every regard while you are on this 7 weeks holiday.
Oh, yes, we have already presented you with that check covering your salary, which we have made up during your absence from Australia. Now, Howard?
Well, John, I'd just like to mention that to keep you both on time with a thoroughly planned itinerary that you're going to enjoy, Aspro has much pleasure in presenting a 17-jeweled, fully guaranteed ladies' wristlet watch, a lip to Mrs. Keith Howard, and another really grand LIP lip wristlet watch to Mr. Keith Howard.
Now, during your absence, Father Christmas will visit your children on behalf of the Aspro Show, and we promise you their gifts will keep them very happy during your absence.
Meetings with celebrities in London and during your tour have been arranged, and we are sure that you will enjoy as much pleasure in meeting them as they will have in making your acquaintance.
Mr. and Mrs. Howard, as Mr. and Mrs. Australia, the Aspro Show asks you to accept and enjoy everything we've described for you with our sincere compliments. Now, before we bid you farewell and bon voyage, we'd like you to say just a few words to Australia.
Never, I'm sure, has such a magnificent array of prizes been given to anybody. We're frightfully thrilled, and I assure you we shall do our very best to represent Australia to the very best of our ability.
As I said in the last week's program, there could not be a more enthusiastic couple, a more proud pair of Australians than we. And I reiterate Joan's remarks that we will certainly be, to the very best of our ability, most satisfactory Mr. and Mrs. Australia, we can assure you.
Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Keith Howard, Mr. and Mrs. Australia. Now, Mr. and Mrs. South Australia come before the Aspro microphone. Ladies and gentlemen of Australia, you remember them, of course, and we're proud to represent them to you. Mr. and Mrs. Len Toyne of Unley, South Australia. Well, now we have a few seconds to spend with you. Have you enjoyed your holiday in Sydney?
Very
Yes,
much
thank
so,
you.
John.
Very much indeed. It has been a marvellous experience. We've travelled extensively.
Where exactly?
Well, we went through to the Blue Mountains, up to Orange, Bathurst, and generally
Jarvis Bay,
down to Jarvis Bay, yes.
Wollongong.
Yes, nightclubs too.
Oh,
nightclubs.
definitely.
And by the way, how will the Sturt Football Club fare next year, do you think, Len?
I think very creditably, John. We've got the young material over there, and that's the main thing.
And they're waiting for their captain coach to
Knowing
come
that,
back.
you're a South Australian, I know that you
Oh,
feel pretty good about that,
that's
man.
right. Yes, well, that'll be heartening news for the gang back home. Have you enjoyed your participation?
Exceptionally well.
Yes,
Exceptionally much.
and the final contestants, they have been a marvellous lot of people to be with. We've been very happy and very, very proud to be here, as I can assure you.
And I
And congratulations to Keith and Joan.
Yes, and that
Really
goes
think
for
they're
me
a fine
too.
couple.
Thank you, Audrey and Len. And kiddies at home, I suppose, they'll be looking anxiously
I'll
forward
be
to
so
your return.
glad
Not
to
so
get
much
back
as
to
we're
my
looking to see
children.
them.
You'll be so glad. That's a big consolation, isn't it? Well, Len and Audrey Toyne, you have certainly displayed a fine spirit of friendship with your participation. And now the Aspro Show would like you to accept as a practical expression of appreciation, firstly, with the compliments of Aspro, an engraved silver tea and coffee service. Then, something we know you will really be proud to own, a beautiful 7 cubic feet Coldstream electric refrigerator, and in addition, something for pride of place during the hot Adelaide summer, a beautiful imported crystal water set. All for you, Len and Audrey. Well, we trust that these awards will bring you both the most pleasant memories you could possibly have of the Aspro Show. And we wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a prosperous and happy and very lucky New Year.
Thank you very much,
Thank
and
you,
we
John.
extend that to the whole of Australia.
And every time we
Wholeheartedly.
open that fridge to take a cold bottle of West End out, we'll remember this great tour.
Pre-ad. All right. Thank you, Len. Thank you, Audrey. Well, it's only been a few weeks since you first met the Delanges of Brisbane. In that time, we know that you've grown to really appreciate their appearances. And Mr. and Mrs. Leo Delange, as Mr. and Mrs. Queensland, acquitted themselves admirably, we feel, in their representation. So let's welcome them back to the microphone once again, eh? Yes. Well, Leo, I suppose the beer up there is just as good. Of course, I'm very proud of West End. However, you've got one more X up there, haven't you?
Yes.
By the way, have you heard anything from any of your Brisbane friends since they've been in Sydney? Since you've been in Sydney, have you heard
Yes,
from Brisbane
we-
friends?
Oh, yes, quite a lot.
Quite a lot. We got a lot of telegrams and letters. And they're all real thrilled over this show. They've all been listening, and they've all been listening to every show, most of them.
Mhm. How long is it since you've visited Sydney?
Approximately 3 years now.
3 years
Both the
exactly.
wife and myself.
Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy your holiday?
Oh, very
Had a
much.
mighty holiday. Been absolutely grand.
Oh, that's the stuff. Oh, you have been
A bit
particularly...
too much for it.
A little bit too much. Oh, you haven't got circles under your circles yet, Audrey? You've been particularly lucky. By the way, in this Aspro Show, casting our minds back, you have been particularly lucky. You've won
Very,
many
very
prizes,
lucky.
haven't you?
Definitely,
Yes,
we've been
very
very lucky.
What have you won?
Well, I won, first of all, on the morning show, I won a radiogram, and then on the heat night, we won a silver teapot and electric sewing machine.
Well, that's lovely.
Mm.
Oh, you've got many memories. And you'll be glad to be going home, I suppose, too.
Yes,
Oh,
back
very
to the
much.
kiddies and home again.
Who's looking after them?
My sister at Southport.
Is she?
Yes.
Oh, it's a nice place, Southport. We know it quite well. Leo and Joy Delange, that's the names, and here we are. It gives us a great deal of pleasure on behalf of Aspro to express our gratitude for your participation and your excellent effort so far. We ask you to accept with our compliments a magnificent electric washing machine, something we know that will make Mrs. Delange remember us at least, and a glorious canteen of fully guaranteed cutlery, and for you, Mrs. Delange, a beautiful 17-jewel fully guaranteed LIP lip wristlet watch. And Mr. Delange, for you, we have also a fully guaranteed, really handsome LIP lip wristlet watch.
This is
All
definitely
those
too
things
much.
for you. It's what?
Definitely too much.
Ah, it's not too much, is it?
We would like to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. Australia, Mr. and Mrs. Ken Howard. They've been champion, they've been great. Matter of fact, we've been a large family together, and we both wish them a good trip to England and a real happy one.
And now we wish you two the sincerest compliments of the season, and truly, may your days be filled with all the luck and happiness in the world. Thank you, Leo.
And thank you a lot for your great prizes.
All right, thank you, Leo. Thank you, Joy. As the representatives of Victoria, you met the Lapthorns of Mount Waverley. Rod and Margaret Lapthorn were fully equipped to do an admirable job for their state, and I'm sure Victoria has been proud of its couple. Here now are Mr. and Mrs. Lapthorn of Victoria. How long is it since you've had a holiday?
We've had one this week.
Oh, yes, I know. How long since before then?
Oh, only a couple of months. We seem to have been tripping around for a long time.
Oh, really?
We shot over to Adelaide and met Lynn and Audrey Toyne just after the Victorian show, and we had a grand time with them over there.
Of course, Father gets about a good deal, doesn't he, in the air? What do you think of Sydney, by the way, Margaret?
Oh, well, that's a bit difficult. We don't like it as much as Melbourne, but then you wouldn't expect us to.
Oh, we'll get off that subject, won't we? Now, did Rod enjoy winging away with A&A at our expense rather than your usual practice of flying the passengers with all that responsibility?
Oh, rather. I wandered around the machine and made an awful nuisance of myself.
Of course, we transported everybody for the show by A&A from their home capitals. Now, Rod and Margaret, to show our appreciation to you in a practical way from the Aspro show, we ask you to accept with the compliments of Aspro some awards that were especially devised just for you. To go into your new home, something we know you don't yet possess, and something that will be a great asset to such a lovely young married couple. It is a 7 cubic foot, fully guaranteed Coldstream electric refrigerator. Oh, yes, more to come. And with
Ice cream for Claire.
And with it, we add a beautiful canteen of cutlery. And to you, Rod, we're making a special expression, as Margaret told us, of your great interest in amateur photography. And that is a thing that is most necessary to all photographers, a Western light meter and case. All for the laptop. And finally, of course, to you, Rod and Margaret, may your Christmas be the happiest and your new year filled with everything you want, and we thank you for allowing us to meet you.
Thanks very much.
We've had a really wonderful time participating in the Aspro show. It's something quite different from anything we've ever done before, and we've had a wonderful time, really.
All right, it's a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you very much, Margaret, and Rod Lapthorne. As representatives of our home state, you met Frank and June Welsh of Narromburn. As Mr. and Mrs. New South Wales, the Welshes did a fine job, and we're really proud of their participation. Where do you live here? I suppose you enjoyed all the trips around Sydney with the couples?
Oh, yes, we enjoyed them all very much. I have never been to Orange before, so it was something new for me. Neither have I been to Jarvis Bay, sadly to relate, but I still enjoyed it very much.
You found the Standard Vanguards just a little better than... what is the name of your car?
Happy.
Happy, yes. A little car, but a lovely thing to have around the home. I suppose you enjoyed your participation in the Aspro shows?
Oh,
We
we
have,
did,
yes.
yes.
We've enjoyed it very much. We've enjoyed meeting the other couples from the other states. Meeting them and being with them for the week has been really grand, and we've enjoyed every minute of it.
Now, as Mr. and Mrs. New South Wales, we're very happy in making a special presentation to you. With the compliments of Aspro, we would like to accept, but first let me tell our listeners just this, that all the beautiful silverware and cutlery we purchased as prizes in the Aspro show are manufactured by the Hacker Silver Plate Company. And Mr. Hacker of that company specially designed a glorious console table canteen of cutlery containing 1 dozen of everything with silver-handled knives. Aspro has much pleasure in making this the first unit of your prizes. But there's still more to come. To you, Mrs. Welsh, we have the greatest pleasure in presenting a 17-jewel, fully guaranteed LIP lip ladies' wristlet watch, and also to you, sir, Mr. Welsh, a fully guaranteed lip gentleman's wristlet watch. And now, to continue, just a few more. In view of the fact that you didn't enjoy a holiday interstate as did other couples, we make this up to you. To suit your convenience, we've arranged for you to take a holiday tour of Australia, and not just a tour, but something entirely new to Australian holiday makers. You'll be the guests of Murray Valley coaches. You will see the glorious Murray Valley by road and by river. Your holiday award is a 14-day round tour of the Murray Valley, including 5 days of lazy luxury on that spanking new Murray River cruiser, Coonawarra. The Aspro show is delighted in making these awards to you. We wish you both a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and all the luck there could possibly be.
Thank you, Mr. Hansby, very much. I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking Aspro very, very much for their wonderful gesture in our favour, and also the people here in the audience tonight have been very appreciative, and we thank them too.
I'm sure.
We'd like to wish you all a happy New Year and a very Merry Christmas. And I'd like to thank our driver for the lovely safe trips we've had all the time last week.
Oh, do we? No, do we? Thank you very, very much, Mrs. Welsh and Mr. Welsh, Mr. and Mrs. New South Wales.
More people are now buying the giant 4-shilling family-size Aspro. This has a double advantage. It is economical, and there is never any fear of being without Aspro in any emergency. Buy your Aspro in the giant 4-shilling family size. A-S-P-R-O, Aspro.
Thank you very much, Howard. Well, we've presented our awards. Mr. and Mrs. Keith Howard as Mr. and Mrs. Australia will be boarding their Kangaroo Service Constellation immediately this broadcast concludes. Our other state finalists we know will always remember the Aspro show not only by the practical expression of the gifts they have received, but by your excellent reception of their sincerity and their true claims to being really grand Australian married couples. Let's wish them all the merriest of Christmases and the luckiest and healthiest of New Years with that grand old song for old acquaintance. Thank you, Frankie.